Welcome back to Geometry, Chapter 3, Section 6. We're going to talk about parallel lines and the coordinate plane. The coordinate plane is fancy math talk for when you graph things on a piece of graph paper. So we're going to talk about graphing. Now this should be a review of Algebra 1. If not, you can learn it now. It's never too late. Alright, so on your piece of graph paper, I should have brought some paper, but you can imagine it. You have the axes, which is the line in the middle that you label Y, going vertically, and a line that goes horizontally, which is X. Okay? And then you can graph points on it, and I've graphed the point 2, 2. X comes before Y in an ordered pair. When I learned all of this, I had been in a very bad horse accident and had a massive concussion. I saw double. It was so hard for me to learn this. And nowadays, they would have sent me home from school for a year and told me not to learn anything. But back in the dark ages of the 80s, they just sent me on to school. All right. And so I had such a hard time learning this. So I'm going to tell you some of the things that help get it straight in my brain. So how I remember that this one's Y and this one's X is Y has a long tail going up and down, and this line is long and going up and down. How you know that X comes before Y in the ordered pair is its alphabetical order. X comes before Y in the alphabet. Took me forever to figure this out. Alright, so how do you graph something like 2, 2? The first one is X, so you go over 2, and then you go up 2 and put a dot. 5, 4, 5 is X, you go out 5, up 4, and put a dot. Now, how steep up this line goes is called the slope. And the slope is the same thing as the rise, how much it rises up, and the run. And I say, pretend like these are football stadiums, and here's my little football player running along. He runs out this way, but you sit on, sometimes bleachers at stadiums are called risers. So you sit on the risers going up this way. So our formula for slope is rise over run. I'll explain that to you. But the symbol for slope, what do you think it would be? No, it's M. For mope, I don't know, it's M. And slope is also the change in Y over the change in X. A triangle means change or difference in science and math. It's the Greek letter delta. Don't you feel smart learning something Greek in math? Okay, so how you do it is whichever, you look at the X's, just at the X's, you don't look at the Y's. Whichever one is less is going to be closer to this side, and those are your ones, and whichever one's more is going to be closer to this side, and those are your twos. So this is my X1, and Y1 goes with it. So X1 equals 2, Y1 equals 2, X2 equals 5, and Y2 equals 4. And then I put them in this formula. You get Y2, and you put it right there, 4. Put your minus before you go see what Y1 is, or else you'll drop it. You'll only put 1 minus instead of 2 and you'll mess up. Then you go find X2, it's 5. And then you put your minus sign, and then you get X1 and it's 2. 4 minus 2 is 2, 5 minus 2 is 3. So the slope of this line equals 2/3. I almost did it backwards there, 2/3, okay? And so that means it's rise over run. That means you rise up 2, and you run out 3. I don't know if I drew it right, but anyway, it's over and up. And our rising up, we go up 2 and would run out 3. We'll look at this one. This is our next one in our thing. We got the right, oh, we did that one, and they didn't do that one. That's what it was. Now I understand. Alright, so now if you're looking in the book, look on page 165. you can see where they said slope is rise over run, and they did an incline railway, which the slope was 0.4. There's one of those in Chattanooga, and it's kind of scary. All right, example 2, we have these 2 points, 0, 6, and 5, 2. So that's x, that's y, that's x, that's y. The x is less is this one, so those are 1s and these are 2s because they're further along that way. Now we can put it in our formula. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So first we're going to go find y2, and it's 2 minus y1, which is 6. Then we go find x2, which is 5, minus x1, which is 0. So 2 minus 6 is -4. 5 minus 0 is 5, so our slope is -4/5. Now, do you see how the line's leaning back? That's a negative slope. See how it's going forward? That's a positive slope. How I remember that is the stock market. If this is the stock market and it's going like that, it's positive and people are happy. If this is the stock market and the line's going down like that, people are sad. Their money's losing value. Today was a real good day on the stock market. Back in the late 90s, early 2000s, I lost a bunch of money in the stock market. There was money that was put in because I was a public school teacher, and so you could put it in this retirement account. 40,000 gone, just boom, like that. Still hurts my heart a little. All right, so here are some more slopes. One way you can do slope is just by looking at it. Here I've got a line where you go over 2 and up 4. So I can get my slope just by looking at that. Rise over run. So going up goes on top, 4. You run out 2 is 4 over 2. If it's a fraction, you reduce it. So that's the same thing as 2 over 1 or 2. Now this one, you run out 1, go up 2. So my rise is 2 and my running out is 1. They're the same. If 2 lines have the same slope, then they are parallel. By definition, if they have the same slope, they're parallel. So here's another problem. We have 3 lines, and which of these lines are parallel? Well, the blue line slope is -3. The red line slope is -5/2, and the green line slope is also -5/2. So these 2 are parallel, not that one. And you can almost tell by the way I drew it. It was pretty messy, but you can kind of tell. All right, sometimes they will give you a slope and a point, and you have to figure out the equation of the line. And if you remember from Algebra 1, the equation of a line in slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. So, and then there's also one called point slope, and either one will work. If you use y equals mx plus b, they told us that the slope was 5 and our point is 2, 3. You substitute them into that equation. So we sing the song, substitute, and then underneath the y, we write 3. Underneath the m, we put 5. And underneath the x, we put 2. Our unknown is b. Now, we start straightening it out. 5 times 2 is 10. Bring down what you didn't mess with. 3 equals 10 plus b. B's tough for me as dyslexic because I see it as a 6. I have to remind myself that's a b, not a 6. Because then suddenly it's like, what? 3 equals 16? What does that mean? All right, and so now, why is b not alone? It's because it's being added to a 10. The opposite is of -10. What you do to one side, you do to the other. Those cancel out. 3 minus 10 is 7. So the slope is 7. Then you put it, the y-intercept is 7. So then you put it into your formula. Y equals 5, which is our slope, x minus 7. And this is the formula. And you can actually graph a line just from this. So, I'll do it like, let me get a darker pen here. See how much time I got her. All right, whoop, whoop. You go to negative 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You put a dot. Then your slope is got an understood 1, so you go up 5 over 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 over 1, put a dot, and there's the line. Ta-da! Okay. You can also do a point slope. You substitute in for y1 what y is, for x1 what x is, use the distributive property, then move your 3 to the other side by doing the opposite, and there's the formula. Here's one more. It says here is a formula. For line 2, it's parallel to this and goes through that point. Well, if it's parallel, it has the same slope. So we know that the slope is negative 1/3. We put 2 in for y and 3 in for x. Those cancel out. 2 equals negative 1 plus b. The opposite is plus 1 to get all the numbers together. B equals 3. We can write our equation. Y equals negative 1/3 x, which we got from there, plus 3, which we got from there. They like this problem a lot on the SAT, the ACT, and college entrance exams, so make sure you understand it. Math is fun.